meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Trish.
Mrs. Brew?
Here.
Mr. Kramer?
Here.
Mr. Menegini?
Here.
Mr. Moraro?
Here.
Mr. Pop?
Here.
Move on to the approval of the agenda.
Support.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Mr. Moraro?
Yes.
Mr. Pop? Mrs. Brew?
Yes. Approval of minutes, regular meeting of November 22nd, 2021.
Make a motion we approve the regular meeting of November 22nd, 2021.
Support.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Mr. Moraro?
Yes.
Mr. Pop?
Yes.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Approval of manifest 2021-23. Scott, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I got a couple things. Week one, Department of Buildings and Grounds, Special Services, Music Tree, Power Strip, 675. What building, where?
That was,
Definition?
that's all that work that we did back there, yeah, so there's probably a whole series of stuff that's on that.
Yeah, let's hope it's not a power strip.
It's not just a power strip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, on page 2, we're in the General Department of Public Works. We have TP International, number 102, engine light on, test, and computer, whatever, for $4,800. I mean, is that
That was,
cost for just one test?
no, that was that work on unit 102 for the repairs.
We approved them.
Yeah,
Just want to make sure of that.
yep.
And then I have another one, on page 3, wastewater one. We have Paul's UPS shipping. That's it, for $51. What, that could be anybody shipping anything, personal items. I'd like to see, that's like a couple of years ago I had, Rick, we've been great with it. What truck number, what equipment number and stuff like that. Just a lot of better definition than UPS shipping. Now, I know they do send stuff out, but I just wanted, if there's any questions about that.
Is that under wastewater?
Page
That's
3.
under wastewater
3.
fund.
Page 3, you said?
4-7, sorry.
Yeah.
I just have
I know, I was lost too. Oh, they are mixed up. Oh.
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
3 and 4
backwards. Yeah, they are. Way to go, Trish.
Which page was it on? 4.
It's 4-7.
4-7.
It is down.
Yep.
It's down towards the bottom.
I'll go.
I know they ship stuff out, have to ship it. Just a little definition of what it is.
Yeah.
In case there was ever a question I popped up on it. And that's all I have.
Brett?
I have none, thank you.
Jeff?
Scott hit most of mine, I'm good.
Rico?
None.
I don't have any either. So do I have a motion?
I move to approve manifest 2021-23 in the amount of $580,916.30.
Support.
Mr. Moraro?
Yes.
Mr. Pop? Mrs. Brew?
Yes.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Do you have any previous questions?
No previous question.
Anyone in the audience wishing to address the council on an agenda item only shall do so now at the podium. State your name and address for the record. Comments shall be limited to 3 minutes. We'll move on to appointments and presentations. Repeal ordinance 429, unlicensed vehicle, first reading. Mr. Anderson.
Okay, thank you, Madam Mayor. A request was made for us to bring forward, look at issue of unlicensed vehicles. Back a few years back in 2018, similar request was made to rescind or to change the law in the city, where you basically could have a vehicle, an operable vehicle on your property without a license. Some cases that precipitated this or caused this was, say you're trying to sell your vehicle and you didn't want to license and insure it. So, you know,
Or what if like somebody had a plow truck?
or a plow truck, a seasonal vehicle, those types of things. So at that time, it's actually part of the property maintenance code. And so it was a simple matter. We drafted ordinance 429, which basically took the word license out. That's all it did, one word. And at that time, there was actually a simple process where if you had a seasonal vehicle, if you had a vehicle that you were trying to sell, reasons why you didn't feel you should have to have a license on it or want to pay for that license, there's actually a no fee permit that you could get from the police, city hall, to do that. We have a whole series of activities that you have under these permits. Anyway, so that's went through planning commission. Planning commission agreed. They said, this is fine, we'll just take the word unlicensed or licensed out. So now, fast forward a couple of years, now we're getting complaints. We've gotten a few complaints about vehicles that are on private property that don't move. Police will contact them and people will move them and they're operable. And so they're okay. And so it was brought to my attention and said, bring it forward and see if there's interest of putting that, actually just repealing ordinance 429. And that word goes back into the property maintenance code. So it's a simple process. So it's just a matter of what's council's pleasure.
If we did do that, could you still do a permit if
Yeah.
people had, I mean, I understand people ain't gonna, you know,
Yeah, it's already in place, Candy.
keep a license on their vehicle, you know, sometimes they already bought a vehicle, so there ain't a license on it. They should be able to, you know, sell their vehicle.
Probably the biggest hardship that we saw was actually not so much the seasonal vehicle as the people trying to sell it. You know, they had it out for 3 months. It's out either by the road or, you know, it's on their property with a for sale sign. You get people starting to play games with it. If you put in language that says for sale, blah, 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 it's just easier to have this. It's kind of like our dumpster issue. You know, we have the no fee permit. You come in, you explain to us what you're doing, you put it down. If your time runs out, you come in and you ask us, it said, hey, look, I couldn't sell the vehicle. You know, can I get another 2 months or whatever?
So it ain't sitting there for 2 years.
That's what's happening.
Right.
Is that what's happening?
You keep the communications
You're
going.
starting to get people grabbing these cars and they're buying them and they're kind of leaving them later on the yard for parts or maybe for something else. I got a couple of complaints from a couple of different folks and I checked out. You know, one yard had 3 cars in it. They were just sitting there.
Any other comments?
So from a staff standpoint, you know, we can do the second reading and public hearing and so on and so forth. From the public standpoint, the public hearing does allow for the public to come in if they disagree with rescinding this or they have a view. If you want us to, we could go through the whole reading process. I mean, council obviously could do, if they wanted to, they could move forward at any meeting and rescind the ordinance. But if you wanted to run through the public hearing process and see if there's elicit any kind of comments.
I would like to hear comments from the public.
Okay.
Give them give them a chance.
So what we'll do is next meeting, I'll run a second reading, and then we'll put forward for the first part of January for public hearing.
Is everybody all right with that?
Good with that? Yeah. Okay. It's actually something that becomes more of an issue come spring once the snow starts going, and right now it probably quiets down anyway, so.
Okay, we'll move on to communications, approval council meeting schedule 2022. Jeff, did you look this over good now? Because
Yeah.
you're the first one, but
Right now, that's it. I'm diving in.
November 21st is the year season schedule.
4th of July, it's on the 5th.
So if you remember back in the charter, it does say that we're supposed to have 2 meetings a month. In the past, we kind of pulled a meeting back and we had 3 meetings in, say, August and only 1 in September. But rightfully so, it was pointed out to have the 2 meetings. So we really can't do that or shouldn't do that. We looked at there's actually 3 dates that we want you to consider. Of course, July 4th and September 5th are both holidays on a Monday, so those would go to the Tuesday. January 3rd isn't technically a holiday, but the office is closed because of our agreements and with the employees that since the New Year's falls on a weekend, then you take either the Friday or the Monday, and because Friday is also a holiday, we have Monday off.
I don't have a problem moving that one to Tuesday.
On the one from the 3rd to the 4th?
Yeah.
January. Is Memorial Day the last Monday of May?
Yes, it's the 4th meeting, or 4th Monday.
Oh, it's the 4th Monday?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, it's the 5th.
Yeah, it'd be the 5th Monday.
5th Monday, it's the last Monday. Yeah.
So we're not gonna wanna meet on that day.
No, we won't, no. We have the 2nd and the 16th for that month.
The one you complained about was the 4th of July.
Yeah. Yeah, the 5th's fine. The only reason I complained about it was because it fell on the day that it was observed. You know, the day that the national day off was the 5th this past year.
Yeah, because it was
Oh,
Sunday.
okay.
and it went
Yeah,
down.
everybody had the 5th off and we had to come up for, so it'd been the same thing as what we're talking about with the
Okay,
January 3rd, right?
okay.
Right.
Well, if everybody is
And
all
of
right,
course, the 15th.
Yeah, of course, the 15th, we don't, November 15th.
that's the only one I checked.
But it's the 21st.
Yeah, I checked it, it's fine.
All right.
Good.
Yes, Candy, I'm happy.
All right, do I have a motion?
For the council or city council meeting scheduled for the 14th.
For,
Is that good enough? They're approving it as amended with these changes that
Yes.
you guys are doing?
Yes.
or do we have to, yeah, we,
As presented.
It was
presented
presented
there.
this way, so it's
Presented.
fine.
Mr. Pop?
Yes.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes?
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. Menachini?
Yes.
Mr. Moraro?
yes.
Approval electric department material purchase?
So I think Scott and I did a really good job of thoroughly confusing everybody within our report, so I'm gonna turn it over to Scott, he can unconfuse us.
All right, so, yeah, on that note, I do apologize, I did the best I could to try to make this easy to follow, but items were available. So, I'll start by saying our lead times are way out there for materials right now, particularly transformers and wire. If we order transformers and wire, this was started 3 weeks ago. We're in June, May and June, we've received those. So we're in the middle of construction season already. We do have inventory, so I want to back up a little bit. I don't know if council remembers in early spring, we made a material purchase. Thank God we did, because that's keeping us afloat right now. We are in good shape. Our inventory looks really good, but it's inventory. It's not designed for any kind of projects or anything like that. It's for services that come up, things like that. So we're in really good shape there, but there's basically 3 transformer vendors on the market, 2 of which aren't even accepting orders. We stopped taking orders altogether. So we have 1 vendor that we can get to, and that's Howard Transformers. So what I looked at is our needs. So we need wired transformers, right? Well, the 2 big things we need for our projects. So if we're buying wire transformers, I thought it would be appropriate to approve the projects that they were going to. That's why I included District 5 Road and the South Loop easement. So I guess it's a conversation the council needs to have. Which projects do we go ahead with? With the increase in price, do we still want to go ahead and do the South Loop? Do we want to continue doing District 5 Road? Where do we want to go with these things? The other option, if this is too steep of a bill, we could transition to more of a maintenance mode. For example, going through Vulcan and rearming Vulcan. There's a lot of that. We could change out poles and rearm Vulcan for the next 2 years probably. I guess primarily focusing on materials that we can get. right up there, whereas this is way out there. So, District 5 road, I put a total price on District 5 road of $72,418. Likewise with South Loop, I put a total price of $98,173.75. That one is actually over budget slightly by about $8,000 because of that wire in particular went up by 20% since the budgets were approved. So on the last sheet, I
Well,
have.
excuse me, Scott, the District 5 road project's also 8,000 there, so really you're still at budget.
True.
About $500 high.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So this is where it gets confusing, I guess, would be my last graph, big graph like this. This is where it breaks out. Because we're purchasing materials for 2 separate projects and putting some material in inventory, so I kind of broke that down. Versus 4-aught cable. 4-aught cable is for South Loop easement, if we decide to go with that. That's a capital expenditure. Then we have 1-aught cable for District 5 road, that's a capital expenditure. Once again, 2 reels of 1-aught cable, that would be for inventory. I know we have several line extension potentials this summer, one of which is over 2,000 feet. So if that comes about, that's an entire reel of underground primary right there, just burned up on that one service. Transformers, 10 kV transformers, the first lot of that would be for District 5 road, and then we would put 2 in inventory. 25 kV transformers, 3 of them would be for District 5 road, and we would put 7 in inventory.
What do you have in inventory?
Offhand, I can't remember, but I base those numbers on our inventory needs. So the 25 kV transformers, I think we're sitting at 3 or 4, and the 10 kVs, I want to see we're at 5 or 6. So that's right. It just so happened it was 10 transformers of 10 kVs and 10 transformers 25, and it worked out really well that way. So I guess the whole bill, if we go with both projects and we put this material in inventory, is $132,166. So we have $90,000 budgeted for the South Loop, 80,000 for District 5 road, and we have $65,000 budgeted for transmission distribution expenses, which I think is $235,000, correct, Ray?
235 is the total that we've included in the budget between the 2 projects and transmission distribution.
I mean, your projects are a wash, Scott. Don't confuse it with your projects. As we said, you're at budget. You're 8,000 high on one, basically you're 8,000 under on the other in your estimate, right? So you're at budget on your 2 projects. Has anything changed? Is the electrical system working really a lot better out there since we decided that we need to be rebuilt?
Where?
On District 5 or Southern Loop?
They haven't finished it.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
we only have a-
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
That
saying,
one
Scott.
needs to be finished.
Right, Scott, that's what I'm saying.
That one's.
So we obviously approve these because they need to get done.
Well,
And
I
go
have
ahead,
some.
Go ahead, Kenny.
Go ahead, I'm sorry, Jeff, I didn't mean to.
Yeah, and you're at budget on that part of it, so I don't see a huge issue there. And as far as the T&D, the additional expense for what you want to put in inventory for extensions and or maintenance, I mean, that's in a budget as well, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
So actually, when Scott and I sat down and we ran, I ran it to 3 numbers. The District 5, I ran and as a project cost, not just a material cost. District 5, the South Loop, and the transmission distribution, and we have $235,000 in the budget. Our actual estimated cost at this point is 200. So we're still under budget when you look at it that way. What we wanted to, we had that conversation right before the meeting where we were saying materials up 30%. We want to make sure you guys are all on board if we just say, let's get this ordered, because there's still a chance that come May, we might not have some of this,
My
depending on.
question is, how long do you think? It's hard to say because of the projects come up and things, but how long would it take to finish this? I know it took us 2 years for,
Yeah. So I estimated 4 years to get that all the way back in town, hard tapped on 14.4, doing that in phases. Because you have, in order to do it properly, you have to do all of Boundary Line Road, all of Hayes Road, and then Werner Lane. So it's not just District 5 Road proper, it's all the side taps too. Beagle Lane, there's some significant.
So why are we throwing other projects in there?
So the South Loop easement came up because that is pretty treacherous back there. If you remember when we did budgets, we've had a rash of issues down there. Particularly, I think what happened is actually there was some beaver activity in there, and it was like 4 feet of water on the pole line. So we ended up finding a broken neutral, and we buried the truck back in there. And the road is washed out like by 8 feet, so we can't even get to our pole line anymore. So the thought was, we go in there, we directional bore through the lowland to where we can start digging, and we get it in the ground.
Can I ask you a couple questions on that while
Absolutely.
you're at that? Did you have that check that we can bore that out? That's an old railroad grade that goes through there, and
Yeah.
that's a lot of iron ore.
Yeah, so I had LNH out there, and he looked at it, and he says, absolutely, but he actually wants to do it in winter. He said it would work better for him being frozen.
Well, did you get a price on putting a road in there?
I did not get a price to put a road
I'd
on.
like to see the price on that, if you could. Because, and isn't there another option too, that we could, come up the Brickyard Road, and stay above ground?
We could, and I talked to our engineer about that. So Dave Krause and I, we were out driving the one day, and that brought it up to him. He says, why would you do that? He says, going down the easement's a straight shot. I said, well, yeah, but we don't have any customers out back there. It doesn't make any sense. He said, when you're dealing with that size of cable, whether overhead or underground, go straight. He says, you start snaking around down District 5 Road, he's like, in your head it makes sense, but it's gonna cost you a lot more. He says, stay where you are.
Did you get a price on that?
To go around, I did not. I just formulated my opinion on what his recommendation was.
Yeah, cause that road can't cost too much. We could get Maureen to go in there and build that road up.
I guess I didn't explore that because we don't own that land. I didn't know if that's something that we could even do. Like, we have an easement, but is that something?
Well, that's a great question. And the other side, from my perspective, is if that's gonna be an ongoing problem, I really don't want to put the money in a road unless we can ensure the road's not gonna get washed out again.
The other side of it too is that whole swamp is black ash, and the ash trees are all dying. So
Probably drowning. They're probably drowning.
Yeah, probably.
Well,
With all that water.
that this summer was exceptionally dry, but the summer before, that's what we were having. It wasn't a tree trimming issue; it was an uprooting issue. The trees were just falling over because they were so saturated. So
Yeah, and it's only what, 1,000 feet?
Yeah, what's your per foot bore price? What do you come back at?
13. Actually, this one's a little more because it's 3-phase. Generally, the rule of thumb is $13 a foot.
13 bucks a foot, that's in conduit?
Yeah.
How deep? 4?
This one, some spots he's gonna be down 8 just to get underneath where the road's washed out. This one's more expensive. It's this one's quite a bit more
I just don't
expensive.
want it to come back and say, oh, well, now we got a change order because it's gonna, it wasn't checked right, and the iron ore, and
Yeah, I can't guarantee anything until we're out there. He is an expert in boring. I don't know much about it.
They're that deep, Ken. We did a lot of boring at CCF. They're that deep. If he's going that deep, I don't think that railroad grade would be an issue.
Are you messing around with over the orders?
I'm sorry?
Are you allowed doing anything like that?
Yeah, they have to, you are once they're abandoned, yes.
Because the one out by our land, we can't. There's nothing there. They don't have power across there.
Yeah, you can't
I don't
cut
think
it.
I don't think they own it. I think it went into private property.
Right.
A lot of those railroad grades that came up by Horse Drive. I remember Bob Worzer was working on that a number of years ago. For actually, Turner Lands owned a lot of those railroad
Yeah.
grades. And then he was contracted by Turner Lands to go and try and find buyers.
But you're right, Scott.
But I don't know
Usually,
about that one
if
specifically.
the railroad's involved, they will stop a project dead. If they won't let you go under it, over it,
Even
anything.
the old ones that are no longer existing,
Right.
there's, because we've been trying to buy, and they won't even sell the rights to it.
They're nasty.
How many outages?
This year, none. As a matter of fact, I wanted to
Well,
mention
did we
that
put
too.
them things in there too, to stop the outages?
Arresters?
The reclosures?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that has worked, but I think the dry conditions have what's really saved us this year, and that we haven't had an operating issue like we've had in the past. We lost, I wanted to mention this to council too, we lost the plant one time this year. That was when it got hit directly with lightning and started the fire. That was a 10-minute outage, so the thing's running very good. So some of these numbers, you know, in years past, we've chipped the plant up month after month after month, and that's what kills us. But we've been doing really good. It's been getting better and better over the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years. We're in a good position. A lot of it is due to tree trimming, but it's doing projects like this that got to this point.
Is it cheaper to go above ground than underground?
Yes, yes.
Usually.
The only issue, I mean, we're already above ground to that swamp there. It's just, I would recommend going underground or biting the bullet and going out district, or, river. That line has to come out of there. And for another reason, those are all rain treated poles standing in the water. We went out there and sound tested them, every one of them would be rotten.
And then the other question I would have, if we're gonna have them reels sitting out for that long a time, aren't them reels gonna rot? Not the wire, but the reels will.
Yeah, so, if we use them in summer, no, well, we're not even gonna get them until summer, if we order them right now. So, like, if we order that before, I think that comes in June.
Yeah, but you're saying, I would like to see, I mean, I don't know how rare everybody else feels, but I would like to see District 5 get done. You're saying 4 years on that, you're gonna.
Well, this isn't the, purchase for the entire project. This is enough to get us to Boundary Line Road.
I would really like to see District 5 road get completed. We started that, that's just my opinion, I don't know.
I hate to put a time frame on District 5 road. That road scares me because of the ground conditions. And we're gonna go.
Too many fires going at once, let's get this.
I like to see stuff get completed, and we're starting stuff and not finishing
So
it.
the one thing I'll mention on that, I completely agree with you. The South Loop, it's gonna be 1,000-foot bore and then 1,000-foot open cutting. There's a total of 6 terminations being made on the entire project. So it's literally digging, plopping the wire in the trench, and making 6 terminations up, and we're out of there. So I don't see this gonna be a huge time consumer down there,
But what about Viking Lane? Why did that take so much longer?
because we just about hand in hand did the whole thing. That center, this last summer, that center was AT&T and gas everywhere. Yeah, it was a nightmare, and we knew that going into it. We knew that. That's why we saved that for this one summer, because those 2 blocks were going to be very labor intensive. So that one took a long time, but District 5 road, we're gonna go until we can't, and we're gonna pop up out of the ground. Probably, you know, I don't think we're gonna get to Clyde campus before we're gonna be up above. And then when the ground fits again, and we can put the blade back in the ground, we'll go back underground.
But that road is only 1,000 feet, right? That where you're saying it's bad, it ain't bad all the way through there,
On the south loop?
going to 577, yeah.
No, it's not the whole way. It's
just the
2,000 feet, so, boy, I don't know, I'll bet you the whole run in there is, it's probably close to a mile, that's just close to 5,000 feet. So we're only taking off about 20, what did I have? 2,200 linear feet, something like that. So we'll still have to drive halfway back in there to our overhead. And then at that point, we'll pop on it. To do the whole thing, it's just, we don't need to. The road going halfway back in is still good. It's not wet. I have pictures, I think I had that in budgets of us.
You did have it.
It doesn't look like that now, it did dry up, so maybe we're okay. Maybe it will stay dry for a while. Maybe it was just beaver activity and then everything was up, I don't know. The black ash scares me though. So when those things start dying.
So what you're saying with both projects, you're not gonna, we don't have the manpower to do both projects right away. We gotta pick one or the other. Cause we don't,
Well, South Loop, we would do this winter, not, I shouldn't say that. The directional boring would be done this winter, we wanna do it in the winter. If we have the materials right away in the spring, we would go out there and we would open cut that and get that in there. That's a two-man job out there. District 5 road, we would put 2 guys on that. When South Loop is completed, then those 2 guys would join them on District 5.
so you're figuring what, on
South Loop,
a couple weeks?
3 to 4 weeks, and we'd be out of there. Yeah, I know. You're not working around gas, you're not working around AT&T. Should go easy. I say that.
So are you asking for the materials in your, with the motion for both of them? Cause to me, and maybe everybody else feels different, I still would like that loop looked at a little bit more before I made a decision on buying the materials.
I guess what I'm asking for is just to have this conversation. Where does council want us to go? Prices are going up and up and up. Do we need to look at other options? Like I said, going through Vulcan and rearming.
What would it cost you to finish District 5?
Let's see, shucks, it's in budgets. I had it in all the budgets.
I mean, from just finish it.
Can't remember. I'll bet you 250, something like that.
Just ballpark, but
Yeah.
close to that 250.
Yeah, it's in budgets. I had it spelled out there.
Still multiple seasons though, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of work there.
More than one, it would take you more than one season to finish District 5.
Because it's not, like I said, it's not just District 5,
Yep.
it's all the.
Well, we gotta come down Kearney too.
Yeah, the tie-ins to District
Yeah.
5.
Because when we get back to, Kearney and, Lower Pine Creek Road, that's where the 14-4 is, so that's where we would hard tap. So we have to rebuild the whole thing when we get back there, then we can hard tap it, and we're gonna go on the 14-4, because right now, we're taking the 2400, we're stepping it up to 14-4. So it makes more sense to do it that way, rather than having to go back in the future and put new transformers and everything, we're just doing it right the first time.
What's an estimated loss out there? Do you have any idea?
Yeah,
You're talking like voltage, actually?
Yes.
So right now, if you're on the 14-4, and we stepped up, you've got good voltage. You may have lights dipping because the 2400 feeds you, you might see your lights flickering, but when we run it, you're right at 120. Because the transformer we put in has a tap changer on it. So we basically took that transformer, we stepped it all the way up to compensate for the low 2400. If you're on a 2400, you're probably at 115, 114. Okay, more than you get question.
Whatever you just said, that you just cranked all the way up. Okay. I'm assuming they're not meant to be cranked all the way up.
No, they are.
Yes,
Yes,
they are.
Yep, they come with it. We ordered that transformer specifically with a tap changer.
Okay.
Yep. And
How much, my question is, how much is that transformer? Around what?
how much do we pay for it?
Yeah.
I was like $2,000. Yeah, and then we're taking that transformer, we're just marching it back to come. So every time we rebuild, grab it, move it here, and just keep doing that. So the 14-4 will grow as we come back and so we can hard tap it.
what did you say, around 1,000 for that transformer?
2,000.
That was 2,000. We purchased that a couple years ago.
Okay, cause you have, let's see, District 5, 3 transformers, 2,988.
Those are just for your house.
Oh, them are just
Yeah,
for the
those are
house.
just regular 25 kVA transformers.
Okay,
That
cause
one we're talking about, the tap changer, takes 2400 volts, steps it up to 14,000 volts.
do you have that one on here or no?
No, it's already purchased, it's already out in the field working.
Alright,
We're just gonna keep reusing it.
You have any estimated cost?
On that particular line, no, I don't. I don't think there's a ton because there's not a significant amount of load on it.
Out on District 5?
Yeah. Load is where you're really gonna get your core losses. I don't think there's a ton of core loss on that, just because the line loss, sure, core loss is what costs us money.
Right.
There's not that many transformers, I'm sure it's something, but it's not a huge thing.
So it sounds like you guys want some additional information on South Loop?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I don't need any, but the rest will do, it's fine.
Yeah, and
What, I guess we should talk about the road, because we have a power line easement through there. Does that mean that we have the right to maintain?
I don't know, we'll have to go through and, you know, we can talk with Grant and see what we have. Now, the other part of the conversation though is District 5 is the priority, so at least the
Order
next
this.
section, order District 5.
That's what I
Get
was
that
gonna say,
going.
at least order what we got here.
Well, I see a bigger problem. I mean, we can push District 5 what we want. If we don't start looking at, materials is gonna kill us this year, right? So we got two projects in front of us that we're looking at ordering materials for. If we had a third optional project where we could get materials ordered, so we had the materials for the summer, I'd say, yeah, whatever we think is the best projects to go. Right now, he's asking for two projects that we have time to do both, right? So what I don't wanna see is us getting locked in a spot where we don't have materials to finish, you know, do a project when we get the map order doing. That's my 2 cents.
Or we could order for this one, and he could come back and give us, numbers on the finishing of District 5 too.
How long is that gonna take?
Oh, I could have it by next council meeting, but like with everything, I don't mean to force your hand or anything, but, we'd be well into July then to probably receive those materials.
And what do you say you're gonna get these by?
One of them was May and one was June.
So it's still May and June.
Yeah, between May and June. And that was actually, I wrote that 3 weeks ago, so it could be longer than that, right? It's nuts. I can't keep up with this stuff. It's changing every day. Now, the new thing is, I mentioned it before the meeting, it's fiberglass and PVC products. The lead times are getting way out on those things. I'm scared to buy poles right now because they made our poles, we treat our poles with penta. It's a chemical, they outlawed it. So they're coming out with a new pole treatment. Like with everything that's new, time will tell if it's worth anything or not, but I hate to go buy new poles and find out that they're garbage. So we have this company that will cover poles right now, but we don't want to go buy these new treated ones, because we have no idea if they're gonna last.
Any other questions or comments?
When are we gonna have to worry about the water, the well site?
Well, they're working on that engineering.
So could the state come and say, hey, this summer we have to have?
No, we talked to the state. This is, yeah, they're not gonna come and tell us that we have to have it in by X of time.
They're telling us
happy
we
that-
have to have it in though.
They're saying they want us to have it in, and as long as we're moving forward. So I went through this with the well site, or the current well site, with some things, and we went 5 years. But as long as we were moving in the direction of making it, they were fine. I mean, they could always turn around tomorrow and say, hey, we want to step it up, but at this point, they're pretty.
But they're not going to say, it's just.
No, I don't think they're gonna do that. I really don't.
Yeah, I do a couple quick questions, Kenny.
Yep.
Scott, so if we move forward and and order materials for South Loop tonight, I understand what Candy's saying. I don't think anybody here wants to approve the project.
Okay.
But at least I can understand that part of it. But these materials can be used for other things, correct? No, you're telling me no? It's custom wire?
No, it's just big wire. It's 4-aught.
Okay.
It would be, we could use it other places.
We can't use it, we don't need any 4-aught out in on Camp, District 5? Nothing? This is all transport stuff?
Yeah, it's
Coming out of South
transmission.
Loop?
Basically, it's some transmission. We could use it, no doubt, we could definitely use it, but it's overkill.
So you're saying, but here's the other thing to consider. I mean, you're saying that that job is really a 3 to 4 week job.
Yeah, once, because the first
Why don't
house
we-
will be on board.
Why don't we get some additional information? I mean, District 5 is a priority, I mean, that's what we're hearing. We need some additional information for the South Loop. I mean, that job probably not gonna go until, we really should concentrate on District 5 anyway. You know, so, I mean, we could go later in the summer and do South Loop.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
could.
We could, yeah,
And it's a drier time anyway, September, August, you know,
right,
theoretically.
yeah, they wanna do the bores in the winter, but.
I mean,
in summer, they gotta do
You
it.
said the bore is 13 to 20, I mean.
Get around in there.
Yes, that's exactly why.
The question is, okay, so you're already into winter now, even if so, would we be able to get this company to come in or this year?
Yeah, this winter we would be able to do this.
Even after we could get some more information, we still got the winter. If we approve the material to do it, we can still get them to come in and bore.
Sure.
We can do it late, and then we can do it late next summer. If we lose a month on it, as long as we still get them, even if they come in July or August, then we just put it in July, the bore will be there. You know, we get it done that way. As far as, and I'm all for District 5 moving it up, but the question is, we gotta see some material lists, you gotta know, you know, what's left out there, so we can, you almost gotta get that stuff ordered then. So here's my last question. Sounds like it's a timeline thing for you it's more about manpower than it is about material in District 5, is that fair?
Yeah.
If we magically got you all the material by April, you could get the whole District 5 project done next year?
Oh, God.
Of course not, that's my point. So I'm asking, but how much could you get done? These guys all wanna see your timeline, do this instead of this, right? So we're asking you, if you can figure out what you can get done this year, we get you material so you can get that done, to maximize the effort out there. That's fair?
Right.
I don't
He
have
has
it,
that all laid out.
I don't have it in front of me, but I had it laid out in our budget process.
Next meeting?
I
Yeah,
can bring it, but
Perfect.
when I laid out the 4 phases, and this would be the second phase, this material will get us up to Boundary Line Road. Then the second phase would be Boundary Line, Hayes Road, up to Vigo. From the phase after that would be, Werner, all the way to town until we get to Hardtown.
Understand, Scott. So I think what the council's asking is, you know, this is a 4-year project to start. We started this past year, correct? Now you're going to year 2.
We started the year before.
Year before we started?
Yeah, we actually didn't do anything up to this year.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I think what the council's asking is, can you compact it? Can you get past boundary line this year, for instance? Can you get more work done than just boundary line? Where do you think your manpower gets you if you concentrate mostly on that project?
Understood. It's a tough one.
I understand.
Because of the ground conditions out there.
Mhm.
I just don't know what to say about it. I don't know where we're gonna have to pop up.
I get you.
That's a tough one.
But that's great how
So he
you put
wants to
that.
have
That's
stuff.
great. That's
Thank you.
exactly what I was thinking.
And the way the pricing is going, like, we didn't do budgets that long ago, but it's completely, all those numbers I had laid out are completely worthless now.
I understand.
So it's
The world
almost like-
changed. The world changed with the pandemic.
Yeah.
So that's why it's nice to have that material for the South Loop project.
I get it, man.
Right?
I get it.
Yeah.
The question is, I think where Candy's coming on, and I'm not putting her on the spot, she's questioning, do we need to do the project as it's proposed? Do we need
That's
to
what
go in
I'm-
there, do we need to go in there and pay $13,000 for a bore, and, you know, then the rest of it, or can we go in there, patch it up with a road and,
Yeah.
you know, whatever?
I'd like to get an answer and move on from it
I hear ya.
by the next meeting, hopefully. Just so, I mean, Scott's got stuff to plan here, so.
Are you okay with going another 2 weeks?
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
No, let's do the material.
District
Yeah, let's get the
road
material, for District 5 going.
Yeah.
And your extras.
Okay,
Right,
so
and your extras,
And
right?
your
if we're-
extras.
If we're looking at this chart right here, then we should just draw a line from the floor be the top line.
Right,
Take that out,
Take
everything
that out.
else, if you're fine with that.
and that's a $44,000 cost on that what is the 4-aught cost?
We're losing the 50,000.
50,000.
50, yeah. That whole thing is 4-aught, eh?
Yeah,
Alright. So basically, we'd be approving roughly about,
We need the exact number.
yeah.
92,
Is it 92? Or is it 82?
82, sorry, 50,000, yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
Is that the exact number, guys?
That's what we're trying to figure out, Candy. So are your numbers right here, guys?
132, 116.25 minus 50,000, 173,
Yeah.
75.
98,17375, Rick. Plus,
$81,990.50.
one more time,
81,992.5.
0.50. Right there. Thank you. Okay.
Alright, do I have a motion?
Yes, I motion that the electric department be approved to purchase the necessary equipment material for District 5 Road and other miscellaneous, projects and maintenance items for a total not to exceed $81,992.50.
Support.
Mrs. Brew,
Yes.
Mr. Kramer,
Yes.
Mr. Menghini.
Yes.
Mr. Mararo.
Yes.
Mr. Pop.
Move on to Michigan Municipal League addendum to city manager search, Mr. Anderson.
Okay, thank you, Madam Mayor. You see that we did get an addendum from the MML, and I see they gave us the three options. First option was to continue on with the list of candidates that we had previously previously received and reviewed already. Option two was inviting additional candidates in on a short list, and item three was to re-advertise. So I think based on our conversations over the last 2 to 3 weeks, I'm assuming option three is probably where we wanted to go and just re-advertise and start the process. That addendum would cost $3,855, and so that's our recommendation for council to move with option three.
Yes.
Gotta be devil's advocate. What's changed in 4 months? 5 months?
Person's condition.
Yep.
I mean, we saw it even in the short time that when we had a couple of the candidates and their situation. You bet. Big snow country.
My guess is, yeah, okay. Yeah, whatever.
Do we have a motion?
Make a motion that Michigan League executive search and then be approved for option number 3, not to exceed $3,855.
Support.
Mr. Kramer,
Yes.
Mr. Menghini,
Yes.
Mr. Mararo,
Yes.
Mr. Pop, Mrs. Brew.
Yes. Anyone in the audience wishing to address the council on any item of interest shall do so now at the podium. State your name and address for the record. Comments shall be limited to 3 minutes per person. We have none?
Candy, was there one more thing?
Not on the agenda. It's not listed on the agenda.
What's that?
Yeah, this, the defined benefit plan closed division form?
It's not listed on the agenda.
It's not on the agenda.
Oh, okay.
It's not on the agenda, so we can't.
So we missed it, or something else we gotta look at this, or?
We'll push it to the next meeting.
Okay.
I have no one in the audience. All right, we'll move on to council comments. Scott?
I would like to say I heard nothing but great things about our parade that we had, everything that was done about it. People from really responsible, you see the social media sites and everything else. The fireworks, awesome, the cause, great, thank you. The other thing is we got that snowstorm last night, that means we are in the winter now, and reminder that you do have to keep your sidewalks clean for the mailman, for the city guys, for, fire department, we have to get there. Just make sure that we have everything cleaned up.
And the parking ban is,
And the parking ban is down the cut.
Brett?
I have nothing.
Jeff?
I'm good.
Rico?
It was fun, the Christmas parade. Looking forward to growing it next year with Mrs. Claus, of course.
I want to thank the fire department. The fireworks were wonderful. Everybody who came down and participated, I felt like we had a good turnout. And hopefully we can grow it a little bit better and get more people down here next year. But I mean, I thought we had a really nice turnout and it was a nice parade.
One thing, Mr. Anderson, what was the feedback on that electric show for the fireworks versus manually lighting them up?
I didn't, other than David. Dave and I sat down and talked about it. He thought it was awesome because it was a lot safer.
Yeah, there was only one person on the hill versus
Right,
whatever they
right,
normally.
and I didn't hear anybody say, oh, it looks different.
Okay.
So I think it, with the temperature and the, you know, just all the surroundings, I think it just looked really nice this year, you know.
It really
was
did.
cooler and it just had a nice setting. So everybody seemed to be pretty happy.
And plus the great idea of it's so much safer.
Oh,
And I also want to thank the light department. The lights look good. We had some last minute changes that we had to do, and want to thank them. And I also want to thank Terry Spence. He does an awesome job every year getting down there, organizing, ordering his lights, trying to find his lights. But he's pretty awesome, and I'm really grateful for what he does for the community.
And you got us that little Christmas tree.
And he did.
Yeah.
I forgot something to call her when the school stopped. She said, Scott, he's got new lights going up the hill. She said she was so upset with the old ones that she actually had it in her will to buy the lights going up the hill. She said, they just love it that they're all lit up and you can see the light bulb. She said, she's very happy with that.
I think they look really good, the newer ones. I'd like to see if we can move forward getting some more new ones.
We've got some other things we can earmark that money for, so tell Mrs. Pollard it'll be okay.
Yeah.
We'll give her a list.
Ray?
No, just thanks for everyone who came out to the Christmas parade. I thought it was really, again, another nice showing. We had, what, 80 kids? So
Yeah,
I'd like to
kind
see
of
the
an
number
80.
go up.
And we do have the mailbox that brought it inside
Mailbox
if
is
anyone
here,
needs to
yeah.
drop off their letters to Santa.
Yeah, they can still get their letters to Santa.
Grant?
No, thank you, ma'am.
Girls? Anything? No? I have a motion to adjourn.
motion adjourned.
Support. Jeff.
Mrs. Brew,
Yes?
Mr. Kramer,
Yes.
Mr. Menegini,
Yes.
Mr. Mararo.
Yes.
Mr. Pop.
Meeting adjourned.
Try that.